Yo, what is up guys? My name is Rhino and we are back for another video. So of course, end of the season, that means a new tier list which we did at the end of last season and the end of the season before that, where we took every skin that came out this season and ranked them in a tier list format. So yes, we will still do the ranking video, ranking them from worst to best. And I know I've been a bit lazy with the uploads, but of course I cannot forget the tier list and the rankings at the end of the season. It's kind of a traditional thing by now, so I can't forget those. So we are here with the tier list for every skin of Chapter 2, Season 5. So yes, this was a season mainly for collabs and the Hunters theme. We got a lot of Hunter theme skins in the Battle Pass and collaboration skins from video games with the introduction of the Gaming Legends series, as well as a couple of extra Marvel and DC skins, the introduction of the Crew Pack, as well as some skins from movies and TV shows. So it wasn't as oversaturated as the amount of Marvel skins we got last season, but at the same time they were quite a bit, and they were definitely some of the better skins of this season, whereas there were quite a few lazy skins. I don't think this season was the best season for skins. I would say there were a lot of great skins this season, and they did a great job with the collab skins. But again, when it comes to collab skins, they're not the most original, and I felt some of the Christmas skins were great, while others could have been better. So to summarize this season, it was kind of like a bit more subtle when it came to the skin releases, but I felt like the few times we did get a skin release, it was either really good or it was pretty unoriginal. And that's how I felt about this season overall, but a very, very solid Battle Pass, as we'll get to. So of course, here we have the tier list. We have A for the highest, being the best skins of the season, the great skins. We have B tier for skins that are really good, but not the best. C tier for good skins or decent skins. D tier for skins I don't really like or don't care for, but I don't think are terrible. And F tier for the horrible skins that can just go in the garbage. So starting off with, in order from the releases, so starting with the Battle Pass skins. So we have Mandalorian first. Yes, Mandalorian, one of the more popular skins from this Battle Pass, and it was the collab skin from the Battle Pass, not including Predator. And because of the time the season came out, Mandalorian Season 2 was still airing, so it was very popular. And a bit overhyped, I would say. And while I am a big Star Wars fan myself, and I love Mandalorian, and I think the skin is great, I love how we get a Star Wars bounty hunter themed skin, I do think there are a couple of issues with the skin itself, like it introduced the mechanic of having a cape that you couldn't take off, and you had to wear a backbling over it, which for some people they didn't really mind, especially people who don't normally wear backblings, while for other people like me, it just didn't really sit down wrong, and we got that a couple of other times this season. So, with Mandalorian, and I do feel like he was a little bit overhyped, and I know that's the case with a lot of Tier 1 skins at the start of the season, but this one, because of Mandalorian still airing, a bit overhyped, but I definitely think that it got better as the season progressed, as less people were overhyping it, and as I got the Beskar armor styles, I definitely think it got better, but I still think Mandalorian is a great skin. Do I think he's the best Star Wars skin? No. Do I think he was the best Hunter / collab skin of the season? No. But I still think he was a very good skin and a very solid Tier 1 skin. So I'm going to put him in the B tier. Alright, next skin we have is Reese. So yes, Reese, one of the more hated skins of this season. She is hated by a great deal of people. So many people dislike this skin. And there are a few people who have garnered a cult for this skin, a cult following for this skin, a few people who really like the skin. What do I think of it personally? I think she's fine. I don't really have that many problems with Reese. I mean, am I saying I think she's a great skin? No. Am I saying she's one of the best? No. But I do think she is definitely overhated. I can't say I care for the default style with the pink and the yellow. And I don't really like the hair color either, even though I am a fan of short-haired girl skins. But I will say I do like the white and orange edit style, the last edit style. I like how she looks with some of the rock edit styles, the Sapphire, Topaz, and Eternal Zero styles, which on some of the skins I thought looked really good. I thought it looked really good on some of the Battle Pass skins, and others I just didn't care for. But I feel they look pretty good on her. And I also kind of like the Mass Effect theme that kind of derives from her. So I think Reese is not bad of a skin. I think she is definitely in the C tier because she's kind of middle of the road. I definitely think people who think she's an F tier, she definitely gets overhated, but I don't think she's a great skin either. Definitely, still, yes, one of the least best from this Battle Pass, from what was a very strong Battle Pass in my opinion, so I think that's partly why a lot of people tend to overhate her. Right, now, Lexa, definitely one of the most polarizing skins we have ever gotten. You have one side of the community that absolutely loves and adores this skin, And then you got the other side who hates this skin and doesn't like these type of skins. And how I feel about it, I'm definitely right dead center in between that. I can understand why a lot of people love this skin. I think she's really good for what she is. I like the first two edit styles. I like the emote to change to the mecha edit style. But then on the other hand, I'm not a big fan of anime. And when it comes to this type of animation layering, I don't want to see them do this often, if I'm being honest. I don't really like the way it plays out, personally. So, I don't really think Lexa is a skin that needed to exist, in my opinion, but at the same time, I do give credit for Epic for doing something like this, and I think for what it is really good. The last edit style sucks, in my opinion, but the first two edit styles, especially the pink one, I think is really nice, and I think they did a great job with her, so I'll put her in the C category. Right, next skin we have is Mancake. Definitely the meme skin of this battle pass, and one of the more popular ones. And yeah, I love Mancake. I love him so much. I love the way they incorporated the idea, the factor of a meme skin, a food-related skin. He's literally got a stack of pancakes with syrup for his head, and I love the way the eyes are sort of like animated on there and not just like part of it. That would look kind of gross. I love the man with no name theme he's got going on. I love that. The cake with no name edit style, Clint Eastwood reference, mixed between a Western outlaw and a pancake or a meme skin. I think they did a really great job at it. I also love the butter around his chest to make up the bullets. I think everything about this skin is great. And I think he looks great in the Topaz edit style as well, because it looks like he's covered in solidified syrup. But no, I love Mancake. I think he's definitely deserves the love he gets. I'm putting him in the A category. Right, next thing we have is Maeve. And now Maeve, I'm going to say right now, is my personal favorite from this battle pass. From the start, I loved her. I love the tribal theme of her. I love the colors, the details, the design, the styles, the how she's a mix between a Medusa, where every time you aim down the side, her hair turns into snakes like Medusa. Who the hell does not want that? And then she's also got an edit style where where half her body turns to a shark every time you go in water. And she also has a built-in glider that makes her look like a phoenix. So I loved her from the start, and I still feel that way today. I think she's an amazing skin. So much detail going on, so much ambition with this skin, so much done with it. It's insane the way they incorporate it, and I think they did it so well. Yes, I did have an issue with some of the built-in gliders from the previous battle pass, how you couldn't use them on other skins, but on her, it makes sense because she's a phoenix, and it goes well with her shape-shifting theme, so she's definitely A tier in my opinion. Okay, next skin we have is Condor, one of the more loved skins from this battle pass, and at the start I will say I've always liked him, but I didn't really see why. He was no Mancake or Maeve or even Mandalorian, but I will say that he has definitely grown on me, and I love the theme. I love the uniqueness of him. He has one edit style, one version where he's just hollow, very hollow shadow figure, and then you turn into a cyborg ninja with the built-in emo, which is sick, which not only changes design completely, but the color scheme has everything about him. It's amazing. Like you have, on the default style, you have one where it's just reddish pink and black, and then he changes, gets a bit more gold on him, some green even, and I think on the other edit style, the green edit style, what people call the fresh edit style, that's the style that made me fall in love with this skin even more, and I love it. I still love it to this day. I think everything about Condor is just fantastic, and I definitely think he's deserving of the A tier, without a doubt, without question. Right, next skin we have is Menace, and he was basically the tier 100 skin of this season. Even though he was available in tier 83, he still classifies the tier 100 skin, and I do like this skin quite a bit. I love the gold and the mixed with the purple. I love all the armor, I love the fire, and I also love the gladiator theme he provides to go well with the Colosseum location. There are some things that need to be addressed with this skin. For example, there is a bit of glitching with the fur on his maximum edit style. I also feel like there's a little bit too many edit styles of this skin. I don't normally have that issue, but this skin just has a little too many. Like, you can have a helmet with no armor, or you can have certain bits of armor or no helmet. The helmet also changes. You also get flames on it. And then there's the rock edit styles, which I don't really care for too much on this skin. So it's just a bit too much. And when it comes to him, while I really like the flames he got on this helmet, it's just the shape of it looks like a mohawk, which I'm not typically a fan of. Now, on this particular skin, I can get by that because it makes sense, but it's when you get the last version where it gets even better. But I only got that a few days ago. That was, not that it was hard to get, but if you're lazy with challenges like I am, it can be a bit of a pain in the ass, and I don't really like the way he looks when he has that big shoulder pad and no armor. I think he looks good either with no armor. I also like the way he looks with a helmet and no armor. I think that's pretty interesting, even if the front of the helmet looks a bit weird. Or you got to use the maximum style for him. I don't really care. There are just some edit styles I do not care for with this skin. But I feel like at its core, at its best, and even the default stage, I think it is a really good skin, and they did incorporate very well. I just don't think it's the strongest tier 100 skin compared to others. I'll put him in the B category. Right, next skin we have is Predator, who was the challenge skin of this season, another collab skin, and this is kind of a skin where, like with Reese and Lexa, where you got one side that loves the skin and another that hates it, and Mancake, where you got most people that love it, and then there's few people that hate it, whereas with Reese, you got most people who hate it, and then a little bit of people who love it. And I was kind of in between with Reese and Lexa, but with this skin, I have to be on the side where I just against it, because I hate this skin. I hate this skin so much. I do not like anything about this skin except for the built-in emote that has the roar that you can hear across the map. Besides that, this skin is just absolutely gross. And while, yes, some people like it for that, and I do like certain skins that can look gross, kind of like Xenomorph, who I think is a much better skin, which we'll get to later, I just not feeling that with Predator. I think the tentacles as his hair just look gross. I don't care for the character. I don't know anybody who asks for a Predator skin. The helmet mixed with the tentacle hair looks weird. When he takes off the mask, he just looks creepy as hell. And the netting over his body just looks absolutely gross. This whole skin to me is just vomit-inducing. I don't like the feet either. The way the muscles sort of stick out, the way it looks behind the netting, and the color scheme is just god-awful. I just hate this skin so much. I never thought that skins like AIM or even the Visitor could be topped as the worst challenge skins, but I think this skin did that. So congratulations, Predator. You're going the F category. I hate this skin so much. I'm sorry. Alright, next skin we have is Kratos, and this was special because it was the first skin that introduced the Gaming Legends series. Now, mind you, Psycho Bandit was a thing, but he was added before the Gaming Legends series was a thing, so he was the first one to come in with the official gaming series, and that brought in a lot of possibilities for other skins, and still does bring in a lot of possibilities, so that's great for it. So, with Kratos, I'm not a huge fan of God of War personally, and I'm not just saying that because I'm more an Xbox player. Like, there are better PlayStation exclusives that I prefer personally, even though I think they did a great job for what he is. I like the tattoos on him, I like the beard. I'm just not a fan of that pale white skin personally, and the strap on him looks a little bit weird. So, if I was basing this list purely of my opinion of the skin, I'd probably put him in the C category, because I think he's good, but not great. But with that said, because he was the first Gaming Legends skin, he was so special for the time, and still is today, and because I like the gold edit style for the PS5 exclusive version more, I gotta give him some love and put him in the B category. Right, next thing we have Diamond Diva. And Diamond Diva, I definitely think, despite a lot of people who hate her because of how sweaty she is, I'm not basing this on who uses them or how sweaty the skin is. I'm just basing it on how I feel the skin in general. And I definitely think she's one of the best starter pack skins. She's just so much better than Athleisure Assassin. She's what Athleisure Assassin wishes she was. Got a more interesting color scheme. I like the gradient of white and pink. I like the blue goggles, the jewels in her hat, the bits of purple on her. I think this skin just insanely clean, insanely great, and just makes Athleisure Assassin look like a distant memory. So I'm putting her in the B category. I never thought I'd put a starter pack skin that high, but I loved her when she was first leaked, and normally, like, starter pack skins sort of change my mind about them, but I still feel that way about her. I still really like her. Right, next skin we have is Master Chief. The legendary Master Chief was the next skin in the gaming series skin, and personally, I'm a huge fan of Halo. I grew up with Halo. I love Master Chief. I think the skin is great. However, when it comes to this, people, I guess I'd sort of think the same way about Kratos if I was more a fan of God of War, but I feel like Kratos is a skin that's a bit more likable for people who aren't a fan of God of War or people who don't play PlayStation, whereas Master Chief, I feel like, is more likable towards people who do play Xbox or people who are a fan of Halo, because he's arguably more iconic than Kratos, but I don't think he's as likable towards people who aren't a fan of Halo. Like, if you're not really a fan of Halo or Master Chief, then you're not really going to like this skin, because the back is kind of bulky, and it's not typically your average army-themed skin to be in the game. Some people find the army green a bit too repetitive, and he can be hard to find backblings on. So I think this is a skin that you'll only love if you're a Halo fan, and because I'm a Halo fan, I do love this skin, and if it was purely off my opinion, I'd put him in the A category, but because of the way, the methodology I use for Kratos, and because he's not the most likable skin towards non-Halo fans, I'm going to put him in the B category. Sorry, Master Chief. Sorry, John. Okay, next skin we have is Galaxia, and this introduced a new version of the Crew Pack that allowed you to get a new skin every month with some V-Bucks and some items, and this was a great addition to it. This was a great starting addition. I love the way they mixed Galaxy Scout with Bright Bomber. I love the colors on her, the detail. With that said, I do not like the second hairstyle very much at all, and while the hair looks cool and I love the colors, I think it's a little too much for me because of the way it moves around, and I slightly do prefer Galaxy Scout, and we have gotten a lot of Bright Bomber reskins, and personally I don't think this was the best crew pack skin we got this season, but I'm going to still put her solely in the B category. I still think she's a great skin. Right, next skin we got was the first Christmas skin, which was Gingerbread Raider, and this was kind of the trend where we got a lot of skins that were reskins, including Christmas skins, that made some of them lazy, but that doesn't mean I rule them all out as being bad. I think Gingerbread Raider is a great skin. I love gingerbread skins. I still love them. I'll love anything that comes out related to gingerbread men, and I think she's the best Renegade Raider reskin, and I think they did a great job with her, so I'm going to put her in the B category. Fa La 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 Fish Stick, I feel the same way about him. I love Fa La 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 Fish Stick. I think he's my personal favorite fish stick. I love the festivity of him. I love how cute he is, the green and white. The Christmas tree used for his hat, I think, is really cool as well. I love Fa La 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 Fish Stick. I think, even though I am kind of tired of the fish sticks, because this is my favorite fish stick, I'm going to put him in the B category. Snowmando was one of the few more unique and non-reskin Christmas skins we got, even though his legs are kind of from Sergeant Winter. I don't care. I love Snowmando. He's a snowman mixed with an army guy. How can you not like that? He's just so adorable. I'm going to put him in the B category too. And he was a free skin, so he was free, so everyone should have him. Same with Frost Squad, the other free skin. I don't feel the same way about her. Besides the beanie, which I think looks pretty cute on her, I don't really care for the color scheme, don't really care for the character model. It's a reskin of one of those permafrost skins, which I don't see many people really liking, and I don't really care for that like branchy design she's got all over her jacket, so I'm going to just put her in the D category. She's not a terrible skin, but not one that I particularly care for, especially when in comparison to Snowmando. Next skin we have is Cloud Striker, and I'm also going to put her in the D category. Don't really care about the skin too much. It's like a remodeled Ruby in a way, and not even a very good one. The color scheme's fine, but I'm sort of getting tired of the PlayStation exclusive skins, and maybe PlayStation players will be like, oh, well, you're saying that because you're salty you don't have PlayStation. Maybe you'd think that. I love both consoles, by the way. I'm not being biased towards Xbox. It's just we don't get Xbox exclusives as much, and I feel like Cloud Striker isn't even the best PlayStation exclusive. I would say that Indigo Kuno here is definitely better. I'd put her in the C category because I love the way the black and blue looks on her, very clean. I just think that the more weathered and more simple color scheme of the original Kuno looks slightly better on that particular design, on the Bandage Ninjas, even though I do like blue and black more than like light blue and brown. At least that light blue and brown looks a bit more suitable for that design. Right, the next skins we got are the Walking Dead skins, and these skins surprised me a lot. I am not even a fan of The Walking Dead, and we have Michonne here, who I think is amazing. Kind of similar reason how I love Aura, for how she doesn't look like she's on Battle Royale. She's wearing traditional, casual clothing. Kind of the same with this skin. I love the traditional, casual clothing she's wearing, the grimy theme of her. She's got the bandana, how she kind of looks like she represents some kind of culture, and I love the bit of pink on her to make for interesting combos. Just such a great skin all around. Such a underrated sweat skin, if you were to call it, in my opinion, but I love Michonne, everything about her. I'm going to put her in the A tier. And as for Daryl Dixon, I love him too. I think he's going in the A tier as well. When it comes to Michonne, I think it's the default style that won me over her, because both of them have a style where they kind of got like capes on them, which kind of has the same problem as Mandalorian, where you have a cape where you can't take off. But with these skins, it's more specifically on Michonne, but of course you don't have to wear that. It's the default style of Michonne that won me over. Whereas with Daryl Dixon, while I do like the default style, I like the more vintage and weathered clothing he's got, more simplistic, and how he can take his blades out of his pockets. It was the Desperado style that won me over this one. I love that blanket over him, the light grey and the dark grey, how weathered it looks, how it looks like from the 1950s, and such a unique touch, and it doesn't just look like a hood and a cape like it does on Michonne's other style, or even Taskmaster. But no, I love Daryl Dixon. I love both these skins. They really surprised me with these ones. And I'm not even a fan of The Walking Dead, like I said, but maybe I'll get into it because they are releasing a new season. Right, next skin we got is Mr. Dapperman. Definitely one of the better Christmas skins this year. So unique, so cool. It's a Candyman man. How can you not like that? He's A tier in my opinion. Even though he is a bit bulky, yes, who the fuck cares? It's a candy cane. What else do you want? If we're going to have a candy cane as a pickaxe, why can't we have it as a skin? And that's exactly what they did with Mr. Dappermint, and they did him so well. Alright, next thing we have is Blinky. One of my all-time favorite Christmas skins, definitely my favorite this year. I love Blinky. He's just gorgeous. I love the lights inside of him, the hat, mix up with some of the more festivity in terms of color scheme, but also something very unique, transparent body, kind of like a glass statue that you see at someone's house during Christmas. I think it looks amazing. I love Blinky. He's going the A tier. Cozy Jonesy. I think Cozy Jonesy's fine. He's not the most original, yes, but I feel like they did a bit more with him than they did with particular other skins, because I like the way the hat looks on him, the color of his sweater, the beer gut I think looks cute, and the army green pants kind of makes him look like he's a loner living out in the woods. I think a cozy loner living out in the woods, I think he's fine. I'll put him in the C category. As for Carve, he's basically a reskin of a henchman, but we've never gotten that. A henchman turned to a mountaineer. I like the poofy hood on him. I like the details on him. Is it my personal favorite Christmas skin? No. Is it one that I use often? Not really. But I still think he is nice for what he is. C tier. Alright, next skin we have is the Marvel Royalty Pack skin. So this consists of Black Panther, Captain Marvel, and Taskmaster. So Black Panther, I mean, it's kind of obvious. It's going to be A tier. And I'm not just saying that because long live Chadwick Boseman. I think they did a great job with this skin. I love the design of Black Panther. I love the suit. I love everything about him. And the kinetic style too. As for Captain Marvel, I love the colors on her. I think the supercharged style looks great. I don't think she's as good as Black Panther personally, but I still think she's a really great addition to the Marvel series. And Taskmaster, I'm going to give the C category. I do love his design. I love the way the mask looks, and I even like the way the cape or the hood sort of blends into it. But it's just that he kind of suffers the same problem as Mandalorian, but worse. The cape you cannot take off, but I would love to see what he looks like without the cape, because it makes wearing backblings on him look weird, and it covers up a lot of his design from the back, which looks really cool. And I definitely think, for a reason, he does stick out a little bit like a sore thumb in this pack, because he's nowhere near as popular as Black Panther or Captain Marvel, which some people consider underrated. And I guess he is in a way. I just feel like he'd be a bit better if you could take that cape off as an option. And yes, I know some people like the cape, and I'm not saying I hate it, I just would like that option. Just options. Alright, next thing we have is Holy Striker, and I feel like this was one of the weakest Christmas skins we got, because it's a reskin of Sagan, which was not really the most popular Halloween skin. I'm not saying she's bad, but she's not very good for a Christmas skin. Just fairly generic in terms of the way they express the festivity with the color scheme, and the shortcut jacket just doesn't go with the winter theme, so I'll put it in the D category. As for Snowbell, the reskinned female codename Elf, I think they did a great job with this. It was designed by Danny with a 3 over on Twitter. Congratulations to him for getting the skin in the game. And I think Epic did a great job incorporating it. I think it's even better than Codename Elf. It's not just a default skin remade. It's a completely different skin. Looks a lot like Zelda as well, which I love. The blue style. And the minty style looks great. I love everything about this skin. I think she's amazing. She's going in the A tier. Right, next we have the Frost Legends pack. The final Christmas skins, if you call them, which have Frost Broker, who I'm putting in the A category. I just love these suited wildcard skins. Even though we've gotten them a lot, I love the way it looks on him. He at least looks different. The bits of ice on his head look really cool. The shape of the mask looks interesting. And he's got some nice, like, diamond cutouts on the suit, which look really cool. I love Frost Broker, man. Snowdrift, I think, is a B tier. Not as good as the original Drift, but I still think he looks great. I like how they didn't just recolor them. They put ice on these skins to give them more detail, more pizzazz. And Snowheart, I'm putting in the B tier as well. She really surprised me. Yes, she is probably my least favorite of the pack, but even her I still think looks really, really clean, really like fancy, if you will, with this style. I think it looks great. Now, as for Flow and Pulse, the Gleam Team skins, I'm going to put both of them in the C category. I do really like their reactive versions. They're both basically the same thing. They got a lot of going on with their reactive version, but I feel like contextually, in terms of incorporating that with another idea of the skin, it is kind of generic, because that's really all they're about. They have lights on them that's reactive, which is very cool, but contextually and without that, they'd be kind of boring, let's be honest. Alright, Green Arrow was the next crew pack skin we got, and in comparison to Galaxy, this was just a massive step down. Like, what happened, Epic? Well, yes, it is a neat skin, I will admit. I don't really know many people who care for Green Arrow as a character, especially ones who play Fortnite. The color scheme is kind of boring, and overall the design of the skin, while it is neat, just kind of boring and just a massive step down from Galaxia in my opinion. When you compare him and then you put Galaxia on, the difference is just night and day so much. It really sticks out like a sore thumb. Right, next skins we have ESO and Hedron, the Edge Factor skins, kind of similar to the Gleam Team skins where they have colors going on, only they keep on changing, and they're not reactive. There was a bit of a glitch where it showed the male being reactive, but the female wasn't. I'm not sure if they fixed that because I haven't really gone back to these skins. So, but when it comes to this, I'm going to put Hedron in the C tier, but I'm actually going to put ESO in the B tier. I like ESO because I love the orbiting around her head, and unlike with Flow and Pulsar, I think they're just the same, male or female. With these, I think this particular design looks slightly better on the more slimmer body, but that's just my opinion. Alright, next we have Gref G, or Gref, which was meant to be the Icon Series skin of this season, but we ended up getting another Icon Series skin later, which was LazarBeam, which we'll get to soon. But Gref, I feel like he's really good. I like the way he sort of incorporated his love for anime or a certain anime character, and the color scheme from the Spanish flag. I'm sure, and I'm very, very happy that other content creators from around the world, even ones who don't speak English, get their own skin, which is very supportive for the Spanish community of Fortnite, which is huge. And I feel like I got really mad when it comes to people who say, oh, but he shouldn't be in the game. He doesn't even speak English. They need English-speaking ones. I mean, if you think that, you should just stop playing this game. This game supports every type of community all around the world, and this skin definitely shows that. With that said, though, I don't think it's the best Icon Series skin, and I don't think it's as good on the default version. I think it gets a lot better, though, as it reacts, and I do think the reactive feature is cool. But I personally think that LazarBeam was just a bit better, so I'm going to put it in the B category. Right, next skin we have is, we got the Terminator skin. So we have Sarah Connor here, who, I mean, it's fine for what it is. She looks good, but nothing really special about her. I'm going to put her in the C category. As for the T800, which was basically the Terminator skin of this season, kind of disappointed with the skin, if I'm going to be honest. I know some people like this skin, but when it comes to me, I just really wasn't feeling it with this skin, man. It's not because, like, I think it's bad. I think it's really good for what it is. I'm just personally not a fan of these type of robot skins, and I think it would have been so much cooler if we got a style to turn back to the human, or Arnold Schwarzenegger. But I'm going to put him in the C category because I do like him for what he is. It's just not for me, personally. Right, next we have all these new soccer skins. Now, these were unexpected. I don't know why we needed new soccer skins because I didn't really have a problem with the old ones. But I will say with these ones, I like how they actually changed the designs and not just the color for all the stages based off different teams around the world. So I did really like that about them. But when it comes to the character model and their designs, I feel like some of them just aren't as good as the original soccer skin. So for that, some of them I think are really good, while others I think are not so good. So this is the one I bought. I'll put him in the B category. Oh, where did he go? Yeah, I'll put him in the B category. I'll put her in the B. Him I'm going to put in the C category. Him in the C as well as him, her in the C. I'll put these guys in the B because I like the dark skin soccer skins in this case. And I'm going to put her in D. I don't like the way that version looks. Really looks like a drag, if I'm going to be honest. And not really like this one either. D category. So yeah, I just think that the reason why I sort of like merged them between B and D is because I do think when it's their best versions, I think they are really cool because of the changes in the colors and the designs for the different jerseys. But I feel like when you get the least best character models, they're not as good. Alright, Machinist Miner. This was basically this season's Save the World skin, and what are they doing with the Save the World skins? In my opinion, they're just getting worse. Metal Team Leader is a really good skin in my opinion. Scrapper is a good skin too, but not as good. Powerhouse is just a worse version, and they made her even worse with Machinist Miner. Like, what the hell were they thinking? Just add a metal box over her? Like, just, no thank you. I hate this skin. She's going in the F tier with Predator. I'm sorry. Now, next skin we have is Orin, the male version of Lexa, and this was kind of like the Dio of this season. Controversial with how he's more expensive than the Battle Pass, which gets you Lexa, which has more edit styles, the ability to change the bionic suit, and more edit styles for a backbling, whereas Orin, he has no edit styles, he cannot change to it, mecha suit, and his back bling doesn't even have an answer. Not that I'm basing off the back bling, it's just the skins. I feel like this was the Dio, aka Mr. Useless of this season, so I'm going to put him in the D category. Alright, Snake Eyes. I think this was one of the more forgettable skins of this season, because I'm not sure many people are a fan of G.I. Joe, but I feel like he is pretty good for what he is. I'm not really a big fan of the visor and the helmet, but I feel like he may be an upgraded version of the 8-ball skin, because I like the bits of red, and the katana is cool, but not as cool as Michonne's. I'm going to put him in the C category. Now, Vi was the next crew pack skin. Now, when you compare Green Arrow to Vi, it's just light and day. Vi is amazing in my opinion. I love this skin as soon as I saw it in the leaks. I knew I was going to love it. I'm a big fan of Drift. I'm a big fan of Smoke Dragon. They basically mix Drift with using a Kitsune not just as the mask, but as the hood, kind of like Smoke Dragon, where he's got a dragon-like hood and he's got the smoke inside of him. This skin is just amazing. I love everything about it. I love the fur, love the details, love the colors. She's just adorable. And I love the scarf that goes down her back. I think it's really cool. Vi is just amazing. Definitely the best crew pack skin we got this season, and one of my all-time favorite female skins. She's going in the A category. Easy pick. Now, Tess. Tess, I feel like, is one of the more forgettable skins and one of the more underrated ones, in my opinion. I think she's good. Mixed like an army-themed, grimy-looking skin with Love, whereas last season we did get Clash, who kind of was that, but she wasn't as grimy or as unique. And I don't know why we haven't gotten Clash back. But I think Tess is actually a really cool skin. I like the spikes. I like the white on her. I like the hair. And I don't have a problem with her. I think she's a very good skin. Definitely underrated. Not an amazing skin, but probably the best out of the Valentine's Day skins we got this season. Probably the best one, if you were to count her as that is. Because next here we have his Cuddle King, which I'm not a fan of personally. Like, the only good thing about him is the back bling and the glasses, which are animated. But when you put that hood down, his hair just looks ugly. When you put the hood down, you got one of the worst Valentine's Day skins in the game. Personally, not a fan of this skin. He's going in the D category. Now, next we have is the Tron skins. Now, personally, I could not care less about these skins. I'm not a fan of Tron, and I don't think these skins are even that good to represent Tron skins. So I'm going to just put most of them in the D category. I will say though, this guy, I do like the males slightly more when it comes to this, the way their helmets are, so I will put my favorite one in the C tier, but I still do not really care for these skins all that much, to be honest with you. D. This is going to take a while, just putting them all in the D category. Don't really like the hairstyle of her. She looks like a drag queen again, and the hair's just too much on this one. Right, next skin we have is the Flash, which was the other DC skin we got this season, and personally, one of my least favorite DC skins of all time. It's not because I dislike Flash, I just think they could have done him a lot better, and he just feels out of place. I feel like I love most of his set. I like the back bling, I like the pickaxe, and I love the emote, but the skin, it's just not for me. I'm sorry, he's going in the D category, and the superhero skins have kind of been oversaturated, and the few ones we did get this season just feel kind of out of place compared to like the skins from movies, from other TV shows and video games, like the Street Fighter skins and like the Walking Dead skins. That's just how I feel. Alright, next thing we have is Lovely, which was more the iconic Valentine's Day skin of this season, and I think she's fine. I like the hair. I like the colors on her. I'm just not really a big fan of the brown skirts. I think the bow ties in her hair are a little too much, but I do think it is nice for what it is, and also those heels are just weird. The hearts for the heels just kind of weird, but so there are some factors of the skin that I really like, but others that I do not care for. But I'm going to put it in the C category. Now, next we have Britestorm Bomber. Now, basically, Ruby remixed with Bright Bomber / Dark Bomber theme, but they don't really incorporate the glyphic animation from Dark Bomber. It's just more simplistic. It's more straightforward. It's kind of like I like Ruby's attempt of being kind of like this girl, just a casual-looking girl, and that's it. But they could have done more with her. She's just a blank skin for me. But with this skin, they kind of filled that because they incorporated that with a girl wearing Fortnite merchandise. And I think she looks really nice because of that. So, because of that, I'm actually going to put her in the B tier. Skin that's grown on me. And I like her. Alright, next skins we have other Street Fighter skins. We have Chun-Li here. I love the design of her. I love the theme. I love how it got Street Fighter skins. I think she looks great. I'm going to put her in the B category, actually, because while I do really like her, I definitely think Ryu, in my opinion, is just better. He's going in the A category. I love the Taekwondo suit he's wearing, the red on him, the aggression. He looks very, very strong. Like he will fuck you up. If you've played Street Fighter, you'll know. But no, I love Ryu, man. I love both these skins. It's just I like Ryu a little more. Right, next skin we have is Seeker, the female menace, and again, kind of like Orin, kind of like the Dio, kind of like the Dio of this battle pass. I don't know why I really need her, but I do think she is better than Orin, definitely, and especially considering that I like Menace more than Reese. Excuse me, that I like Menace more than Lexa, who is the female version of Orin, and then you got Seeker, who's the female version of Menace. I just don't think she's as good as Menace, and I think they need to fix that hair, because that hair really gets in the way of backblings. But I think she's fine. Right, next thing we have is the alien skin. So we have Ellen Ripley here, who, kind of the same way I feel about Sarah Connor. I feel like she is good, very good for a simple skin, but not really my style, and I'm not really a fan of the hair on the other art style. And Xenomorph is a skin that's absolutely disgusting, insane, obnoxious, out there, creepy, but that's exactly what makes him cool. I love Xenomorph, man. I'm going to put him in the B category. Next skin we have is Llama Bro, who was the latest crew pack skin, and when compared to the other ones, he is nowhere near as good as Vi. He's not as good as Galaxia. I think he's a little better than Green Arrow, and in terms of Llama skins, I think he is fine. It's just, why do we need this after getting Bash? It's a more clean version of Bash, yes. I like the shoes, and I like the color gradient on the poofy jacket. I'm just not typically a big fan of those sort of jacket designs, and it may be a more clean version of the hero style for Bash. I definitely like Bash more for the, like, grimier militia edit style, so this skin just feels not very original, but I think it's fine for what it is. It's not as bad as Green Arrow, but I don't think it's anywhere near as good as Galaxia or Vi. I feel like the female crew pack skins so far have been the best ones, while the male ones have been weaker, just in my opinion. Now, next we have LazarBeam, who was the other Icon Series skin, and some people absolutely love the idea how they incorporate something more casual, more simplistic, and based off what LazarBeam used to do before YouTube, based off his background, whilst the others were kind of iffy about it or didn't really like it because it was too simplistic or not really unknown to the culture. Whereas me personally, I love this skin. Not only do I love LazarBeam as content creator, not only am I glad he got a skin, but also they kind of mix that with a tradey theme skin, which is a tradesman. So basically someone who works in the trade industry in Australia, like construction and painting or plumbing. And I think they did an amazing job with him, combining LazarBeam as a tradie, and it goes well with his very laid-back, casual theme. I love that. I love the color of the tradie vest. I also really like the style where he's wearing the singlet and the hat. I think very reminiscent to Australian culture, so I am a little biased towards this skin, but I like how they did this. They actually did something that's very true to his character, very true to his personality, and also true to Australian culture, unlike with the Lachlan skin or Gref G skin. So yeah, I'm going to put him in the A category. I love LazarBeam. Now, next skin we have is Ant-Man, who was the other Marvel skin we got this season, the Final Hunter skin, and I do think they did a fine job with him. I think he looks good. I'm just a bit disappointed with how he was the Final Hunter skin. And when it comes to this, it's a bit of a mess because he has the mask based off the comic book version, whereas his body is based off the movie version. Like, I get like they wanted to combine the two, but why couldn't they just do maybe an edit style? They haven't done that since Batman, where he has a movie version and a comic book version, two separate skins. They could have done this in an edit style, and it would be a lot better. I would love to have a comic book version of him, because I do like the way the mask looks on this style. But at the same time, I do really like the way the movie version looks, and I love Ant-Man as a character. But I feel like they kind of really had a missed opportunity with this skin, and a missed opportunity with the Final Hunter skin. I'm fine with getting an Ant-Man skin, but I just wish we could have got it later, and I wish it was done better. So I'm putting him in the C category. And the last skin we have, I don't know why Gref G's here twice, Marigold, aka the female Midas. And yeah, I think she looks great. I definitely still slightly prefer Midas, but I love the way they incorporated the gold reactive feature on her, where she gets more and more gold as you get kills, instead of leveling up. Well, it wouldn't really work in this context. But I think they did it really well, and I do like Marigold quite a bit, so I'm going to put her in the B category. Right, so a couple of other skins that weren't on this tier list, we just got, as I'm recording this, we just got in the item shop the male version of the reskin, or, what was his name? Cypress Nell. If he was on here, I'd put him in the D category, because kind of like how I feel about with Orin and Seeker. I don't think he's as good as the original version, and I don't think anybody asked for him, and Reese was not one of the more popular ones. I think he's okay, but I still prefer Reese. Centurion, which is going to be As I've told, the next starter pack skin for next season, I think he's fine. I think he's good. He's basically a male version of Maya. I'd put him in the C or B category because I think he's pretty good. I like the design of him. And then we have the Xander skin, which is kind of like a recolor version of Scimitar. He'd be in the F tier. I hate that skin. Not even a huge fan of Scimitar, but I think Scimitar's fine for what he is. Whereas him, just ruining him with the color scheme that doesn't work on him at all and just looks ugly, I don't care for it. I hate it. But thankfully, he's slipped away from this one, so he's not going to be on this tier list because he's not there. But anyway, that's pretty much going to wrap up this video for the tier list. So if you guys enjoyed, let me know a like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you think the final results of this tier list. Do you agree? Do you disagree? What were your favorite and least favorite skins of this season? Let me know. Only 2 F tier skins, so I truly think there were a lot of great skins this season, and only very few like truly bad skins. But at the same time, like the overall context of it, there could have been some better skins, or maybe a bit more uniqueness. But that's just my opinion. So we have Mancake, Maeve, Condor, Michonne, Daryl Dixon, Mr. Dapperman, Blinky, Black Panther, Snowbell, Frostbroker, Vi, Ryu, and LazarBeam in the A tier. And that's going to wrap up my list, so stay tuned for the ranking list where I rank them from worst to best. But until then, guys, I'll catch you later. Take care. Bye-bye.